Hello and welcome to Inner Circle Guidance. Today we're going to be doing a collective reading, but for those of you who are new to the circle, hello and welcome. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button. I post new readings every single day. And if you're looking for personal services or personal readings, I offer them through my website, innercircleguidance.com. Let's find out what the circle needs to know today. We have the Justice card. We have the Ten of Swords. We have the Four of Cups. We have the Page of Cups. We have the Four of Pentacles. We have the Seven of Pentacles. Okay, so there is a feeling here where there's some sort of decision that you either are in the process of making or will have to make. This has to do with something that you're questioning what would happen if you took the leap and did it, or you're questioning how things would pan out if you made a certain choice. So with the Justice card, part of your hesitation here is that you know that this decision is going to have long-term effects in all things, in all areas of your life, for yourself and for others. So it's going to influence not only you, but the people around you. This is also a card of truth. So there could be some sort of truth that needs to come to light. This is a truth that is based in facts, and it's also a truth that may require you to find out through internal reflection or through some sort of inner wisdom. And this is a card that indicates that you need to have all your facts before you make a full decision. So if you feel like you don't have all the facts, then the first step for you would be to work towards collecting the facts. The Justice card also indicates some sort of mirroring effect. So if this is a relationship decision that you're having to make, the relationship may be a mirror to what's really going on internally. Or if it's finances that you're making a decision about, it could be a mirror in some way that's trying to show you something that needs your attention. This is also a card of cause and effect. So when the Justice card comes out, it's important to ask the question of who do you want to be in this scenario? How do you want to show up? And who do you want to show up as? This is a card that indicates you need to make sure that you're responsible for your own actions and that you're taking accountability where it's yours to take accountability for things. Part of this decision is going to require you to get rid of the poor me mentality to really build the future that you want for yourself, because I'm seeing that the Seven of Pentacles, that you have been planting a lot of seeds for abundance, a lot of seeds for what you want long term. But with the Justice card coming out and then the Ten of Swords, with the Justice card having to do with accountability, you need to step into your power in a way that maybe you haven't in a long time, or that you've forgotten, or that you haven't learned how to do. This is a card that's really telling you you're going to need to let go of what you've lost and focus on the new path forward in order for things to work out in the way that you're desiring. This can be a new sense of independence for a lot of you. Doing things in a way where you are feeling empowered and supporting your own empowerment. For some of you, this decision can be difficult because it may come with you having to overcome some sort of shame or bitterness, disappointment. It could also mean leaving behind something or someone that maybe you know is not best for you. This can also be leaving behind mindsets or habits that are not serving you. I'm very much hearing that this decision may require you to completely close the door on a certain chapter of your life and close it so completely that there's no going back for a lot of you. So this could be a very pivotal point in your decision making and your journey. This decision may be something that would put you on a different path. And it's like, in order for you to fully thrive in that path, you would need to fully commit to it. I'm also hearing that the release of the decision and the release of whatever change or whatever cycle you'd be closing out to would be contingent on you. In order for something to fully close out or end, you would need to be the defining factor of that. I'm picking up on with the Four of Cups. Part of the reason why you're struggling with this decision is because there's sort of a disconnect and a boredom and discontent with maybe where you're currently at or how things currently are. A lot of you are wanting to be happy or feel like this decision could bring you more happiness, but you're not exactly sure if that's the case. And there is a certain level of this card indicating that you would need to choose your happiness. But in order to choose full happiness, you would need to make sure your decisions are in alignment with what you truly need and want in your life. This is also a card that part of the reason why you're wanting to make this decision would make something move. There would be movement happening where in a lot of ways there's a stuck energy where you're feeling sort of like you're unable to move forward or you're unable to progress, elevate, or expand in the ways that you desire. One thing that will help you with making this decision is being honest about what you're passionate about and having the courage to pursue that passion. That's very important here. And I'm seeing that with this Four of Cups. Some of you are waiting for your happiness or your purpose or your calling or your passion to find you, when in reality, you also have the power to decide and imagine that. You have more agency in the situation. And I think that, especially for those of you who are creative, there's this feeling like you're waiting for things to take off or you're waiting for things to finally be the way that you want them to be. And without this empowerment that I've been talking about in your own power, it doesn't really matter where you go or what you decide, because if you're waiting the entire time for something to happen or you're waiting for someone or something to find you, you're not taking the agency and the power in the situation. So you're really being encouraged to have the courage to truly go after your passions and realize that you can also decide and imagine that. You can create it. You don't need to wait around for it to find you. You can decide that this is what you want and what you want to do and go after it versus it coming to you. I'm not saying you should chase after things, because being in a chasing energy it's a lacking mentality. But what I mean is that you can go and pursue something, someone, the life that you want for yourself. You don't have to wait for it to come to you or find you or happen upon you. You can go out and make it happen. That's more of what I mean here. The Page of Cups indicates that things may happen that are unexpected. This also is an indication that you may need to make sure that you're being more grounded at this time and that you don't have your head in the clouds or you're not seeing things with rose-tinted glasses. This is also an indication that you need to be open to new ideas, especially ones that come from your intuition or your divine inspiration. You need to embrace your inspiration, even if it comes in ways that are unexpected. This can lead to some sort of adventure, and it's very possible that this decision could lead to some sort of adventure, because the Page of Cups indicates that there can be adventure or that you are starting out on some sort of adventurous journey. If you're feeling like this decision is tied to some sort of creative aspect, then you are highly being encouraged to go for it. Because as a creative card, this is very much a card that's indicating that if you're feeling a call to something, then you're being prompted to answer that call. This can also indicate that if you're feeling like you're being faced with difficult situations or difficult decisions, that you may need to look at things from a different perspective and tackle things step by step instead of as a whole. This is a reminder of needing to be persistent, because we will feel the need to give up right before we're about to succeed. So this is an encouragement to keep going towards the things that you're drawn to. Believe that things are possible. This can also be an indication that there's a need for some sort of emotional release, and the emotional and creative and inspirational side of you need an outlet. So if you've been feeling kind of pent up lately, then this may be an indication that you need to take some time to release those energies. Specifically, if you're feeling restricted emotionally, or if you haven't been working on your creative goals, or if you haven't been expressing yourself, this is an encouragement to do so. It's also an indication that once the decision is made, you will get better results if you are freely and openly expressing yourselves in all the ways that you need to express yourself. This is also an indication that in order to make things happen, you have to take actionable steps. This is a reminder not to just daydream about what you want, but actually go out and make it happen. So this card is interesting because the Four of Pentacles has a lot of duality energies in it. On one side of the spectrum, we have stability, we have wealth, prosperity, travel. This card can be an indication of travel. On the other hand, this is being too afraid to step out of your comfort zone, being stingy with money, putting too much emphasis on the material, or valuing things only from a material perspective. It's funny because remember I talked about mirroring with the Justice card. And then we have the Four of Pentacles here. It's important that you keep your true values and priorities in perspective when it comes to making this decision and after. I'm seeing that regardless of whatever decision you make, that it's going to be the right decision. Because I know a lot of people get hung up on when I say that whatever decision you make is going to influence things long term. And people get really worried about that. But the thing is like, whatever decision you make is the right decision for you. Even if you made the decision that was more difficult, that takes you down a more difficult path, it may actually have been the best way to get you to where you need to go. On the flip side, you could be making a decision that does make things easier. And maybe things being in a more of a flow state actually benefits you because there's less restriction. But the point I'm making here is that ultimately, life is like a labyrinth, not like a maze. In a maze, there's dead ends, there's wrong turns. In a labyrinth, no matter which direction you go, it'll always take you to the center of the labyrinth. There'll always be a destination. It just might take you a different route. So with that, I want you to realize, and you're being reminded also through these cards, that this decision, no matter how challenging it may feel, whatever decision you make is going to be the right one. It's going to be the right one for you and your choice of path and destination. And especially if you're more in tune with your higher self and your intuition, and you're making it from that standpoint, and you're making it from a standpoint of priorities and values, you're really going to be getting to the destination that you are hoping for much more quickly. But there's really no wrong, there's really no wrong decision here. So don't get so hung up on the decision part. Focus more on the outcome that you're looking for, and then make the choice in alignment to your values, priorities, and your dreams. Now back to the Four of Pentacles here to get a little bit more specific here. Don't get so worried about stability or about things being a certain way that you are making decisions that are keeping you stuck or are keeping you from growing because you're worried about what could or could not happen. The one really good way to know if you're making a decision that's in line with your intuition and not with your fears is that often when you're making a decision that you know is going to push you out of your comfort zone, is going to expand you or grow you in some sort of way, there's a reservation there, there's a hesitation and a fear, but it's also like you kind of know that it's somehow going to work out in your best interest. Whereas if you have this like pit of dread in your stomach where your intuition is just like hounding you and you just have all this anxiety, typically that decision is not the right one. So listen to your intuition with it because it's really going to help you in making these choices. But don't get so hung up on staying in one place or keeping everything exactly as it is or keeping everything that you have. When you get too caught up on that aspect, you keep the energy stuck and you don't allow it to move. This is a card that indicates that you may have solid investments, or you may be financially stable, or you may be stable in some sort of relationship, but this stability shouldn't be the only thing that is driving your decision making. Keep in mind that without risk, there's a possibility there's no reward. But when you're taking risks, they should be generally pretty calculated. Don't become a slave to your own possessions or your own material gain or your own wealth or your own idea of stability. Remember that sometimes it's really easy and comfortable to stay where you're at, but there could be better for you out there and you just may not know it because you haven't experienced it yet. So this is a reminder here in making this decision, don't let the decision be made out of simple comfortability. Things are going to ebb and flow. Don't allow imposter syndrome to get in the way as well. This can be a card of sometimes having low self-confidence or low self-worth. Know that whatever room you choose to walk into, you are meant to be there. And don't avoid a collaboration with the right people because sometimes it's helpful, especially when making decisions or when you're trying to make something come true or come to fruition, that you have the right people backing you. So overall, in order to get what you want from this decision, you're going to need to be patient. You're going to need to do a bit of planning and you're going to need to stick with it. I am seeing that there's going to be harvest, rewards, wealth, results, stability. If you're looking for love, there'll be love. Whatever it is that you're desiring will come to fruition, but it's going to take some time, some planning, and some effort on your part, and consistency as well. This is also a card that's indicating that your efforts will pay off. So if you're putting a lot of effort into something, you'll get a lot of rewards. Whereas if you're thinking about a lot of things but not putting a lot of action behind it, then you will bear the fruit of not putting a lot of action behind something. Ultimately, with this decision, you have the ability to plant a lot of seeds. We talked about that, but it's going to require some nurturing on your part. For some of you, if you feel like there's been some sort of delay, and that's part of what is prompting this decision, some sort of delay of fruition or delay of things working out for you in some way, I'm seeing that with this choice, with this decision and how you move forward with it, it is going to get you where you're wanting to go. I'm going to leave the reading here. If it resonated with you, don't forget to like this video and comment your affirmation down below. Your affirmation for this reading is, I am aligning to the path that is best for me. And as always, may your life be full of light, full of love, abundance, and gratitude. I'll see you next time.